I've been a full-time musician now for over 20 years, and I've been very lucky to tour with Ed Sheeran, the Backstreet Boys, Charli XCX, and most recently recorded on the Script's new album. But whenever I tell someone what I do for a living, I still always get the confused look of, what do you really do for money? Or when are you going to get a real job? Today, I'm going to break down 5 biggest myths about being a professional musician that I encounter nearly every single day. Number 1, you need to be able to read music. People are still shocked to this day that I cannot read music. The truth is, since I work on the more commercial side of the industry, composing and performing with pop artists, I've never ever been handed a piece of sheet music. But people play me music all the time for me to play along to or compose new parts to. Recently, I was called in to record some guitars on the Script's new album. I was in a studio with Danny, the lead singer, and Steve Robson, who's a legendary producer who's produced countless hits. They played me 5 demos on that day, which I've never heard before. I had to not only learn the songs on the spot, but also at the same time trying to come up with guitar parts which I felt will help elevate the tracks. The environment is pretty high pressure since I was paid to be there and I was expected to deliver. I was able to draw from my experience of working under that type of pressure and my ear training, and I was able to deliver guitar parts which in the end made it on all the tracks for the Script's album. I felt they were happy with my work in the end because a month later Steve Robson, the producer, called me back in to do the same thing, a recording session with the country artist Darius Rucker. Reading music is more of a required skill if you're looking to get into the West End theatre stuff or playing in a symphony orchestra. But in pop music, you're required to learn and improvise just by listening. But ideally, if you're able to have great ears and be able to read music, that'll open up all the possibilities of music work for you. But even if you have great ears, there's a bit of a trap that people fall into, thinking that you need to be the next Van Halen to get hired. Number 2, you have to be the best player. Being a virtuoso is actually way less important than being a professional. It's not about being the best player, but being good enough for the job. Professional touring is about 10% playing and 90% the hang. Can you sit for 10 hours in a van with people and not be a nightmare? People hire you for your playing, but they will rehire you for your personality. If you're the best guitarist in the world, but you're a nightmare at 3 a.m. at a service station, you're not going to get the call back. Most of the job is being able to get along with everyone and bringing a good positive energy to the group. Being an amazing bedroom player doesn't necessarily translate onto the live stage or touring. Being on stage requires an extra set of skills beyond playing, like handling nerves, moving on stage without compromising your playing, performing under pressure, and also being able to handle situations when things go wrong. For example, your cable can get pulled out, one of your pedals will go down, your mic falls off stage. These things happen all the time. Performance, reliability, and energy is what gets you rehired. Number 3, you have to be famous to be successful. There is a middle class of musicians making a great living behind the scenes. As well as touring as a sideman, I have multiple revenue streams. I do a lot of songwriting and producing for artists, sync music for brands, library music for Universal and BMG, and also have multiple artist projects, some of which have no social media presence whatsoever. Actually, some of the no social media projects is incredibly liberating, since it just allows me to focus purely on the music and without the influencer grind. One of these projects is called We Are Now, which is more of an ambient piano type project. If you're interested in checking out the music, the link is in the description below. I don't personally teach, but a lot of my friends do. It's probably one of the most secure ways to earn stable income from music. The point is, you don't need a blue tick for you to have a healthy bank account. Number 4, musicians are lazy. Most musicians are freelance, meaning that they work for themselves. They have to manage their own time and also what jobs that they take on. We are CEOs, accountants, and marketing managers, which just happen to play an instrument. Since there are no salaries, if I don't work, I don't eat. I often find myself answering emails at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night. For every hour of paid work on stage, there are 10 hours of unpaid practicing, learning 40 songs for a new session, managing and fixing all your equipment, and networking and hustling trying to find your next bit of work. Playing music is often just a fraction of being a full-time musician. And number 5, it's a constant glamorous life. Most of my work happens in isolation. I'll be spending 10 hours locked in the studio with no windows, just tweaking a kick drum. I've done plenty of sleeping in the back of vans, loading flight cases in and out of muddy festival sites. It's the best job in the world, but it's 2% sex, drugs and rock and roll and 98% logistics and discipline. The reality of being a professional musician isn't a red carpet, but it's a cold loading dock in the north of England at 2 a.m. But when that 2% happens and you're having the best time on stage with your mates, it makes the rest of the 98% completely worth it. If you're a musician, what's the weirdest assumption someone has made about your job? Let me know in the comments below. If you think these myths are eye-opening, you need to see my video on the 5 brutal truths of the industry. Click on the video in the end screen to watch. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.